Okay, so welcome back. So we are in this last video, last module for week 6, and in this module we will continue kind of focus on use of waste plastics in road construction. We started that discussion towards the end of last video. So, we will go in more detailed discussion on waste plastic in road construction. This is a very hot topic in terms of plastic waste management in India as well as in abroad. People are using waste plastic in road you will see some examples from India, and also used in European countries and other places where people are looking at using this waste plastic. There are several benefits of doing that. There are some issues associated with doing that. There are some technical challenges with that. So, we will discuss those aspects in this particular video, and that will be kind of end of week 6 for us. So, there are when we go for plastic waste in the road construction. Any road construction, you start with aggregates. You will have hot aggregate, and then you add plastic waste right there. We place plastic waste is added, waste plastic shredded added to it, that it gets plastic coated aggregate. This plastic coated aggregate with the hot bitumen, so it gets plastic coated aggregate bitumen mixture, and then road is laid in around 120 degrees centigrade. So, as you say in Jasco, which is in Jamshedpur in Tata Nagar, is this a road is made from of waste plastic. So, it's being used, being used in many places in India and also abroad. So, where the only thing you are doing different here is you are adding waste plastic in the step, and that helps in some of the plastic properties which we will see as we go as we make progress in this particular lecture. So, that is where the waste plastic comes in, and this then we will look at the whole process of how this waste plastic use in roads are done. So, let us look at this, and then we will discuss more detail about use of waste plastic in road construction. And this video has an audio component. So, again I will put myself in mute as long as this video is playing, and so you listen to this video, and then we will discuss it, and we will discuss some associated issues associated with that.
Plastic roads, the laying procedure. The laying procedure for the plastic roads will be the same from the subgrade course to the base course, like any flexible pavement. The waste plastic is accumulated and is sent into the shredder machine. The shredded plastic will measure between 10 to 15 millimeters. Fixed proportions of shredded plastic is added to the aggregate on a conveyor belt in a hot mix plant. It is then sent to the mixer, where the shredded plastic melts and forms a layer on the aggregate. This process happens at temperatures between 170 to 180 degrees centigrade. The plastic coated aggregate is then subjected to bitumen. Plastic, being a good binding material, holds the bitumen together. The final BT mix is collected and loaded into the paver. In the final step, the plastic coated bituminous mix is laid according to the alignment and is compacted as per the standards. Plastic roads, a perfect solution. We are spending 4.5 trillion rupees on annual maintenance of roads and similar infrastructure. They are cost effective with nil maintenance.
As you saw, that whole process in which the plastic waste was laid, again it was essentially the similar process of what we do for our road construction, but again we are adding this plastic. We are adding plastic as explained in the previous slide. As a first the plastic is shredded and then it is added to the bitumen and mix with the aggregate, first with the aggregate and then we add bitumen to it. So that is it's a why it works, because plastic is a good binder. It helps in binding those aggregates together. It improves aggregates impact value. It increases the melting point of bitumen, so helps to improve the quality of flexible pavement. So that's these are some of the salient features of why this plastic waste roads are considered better than traditional roads, and they have been found to be better as well, which has been documented so far, that this plastic waste roads are actually coming out to be better than traditional roads. So, and these are some of the reason why it does that. So, when you compare plastic roads with the non-plastic roads, in both cases bitumen are there, but bitumen roads with plastic and bitumen road and just without plastic. So, what we have found that you can see those two pictures. The top one is with the plastic and the bottom one is without plastic. So, without plastic, as we all know, there is a cracking, the portholes, you will have some deformation, and when you go for this plastic in the right proportion, in right design, you kind of avoid having portholes, less deformation, no cracking, and no edge, you do not have the edge flow. So, that is it helps in putting things in right like right aligned. So, this is it's a better product, as you can see from the picture. It comes out to be a much better product when we use this waste plastic, and it also from a plastic waste management point of view, you also see that okay, it's a plastic waste management solution as well, and at the same time it's a transportation solution, because this road is coming out to be better. So, but always whenever we have say when any process, any product, anything you come up, there will always be some issues and challenges, because things are not all there are always some limitations, there will be some challenges. So, similarly here we have to clean the plastic, because when you use if you have too much dirt and other stuff, so you have to clean it. You can have some toxic stuff present there. So, toxic presence can commingle plastic waste, would start leaching. So, you have that after cleaning, that wastewater that you have, that needs to be treated. So, that's an issue. During the road laying process, due to presence of noxious HCl gas, because when you have plastic there has some chlorinated product is there. So, when you have chlorinated product, you will have HCl gas being formed, and that becomes a problem. And when you have the pure plastic roads, it requires use of compatible plastics, because when you use mixed plastic, they may have phase separation, because there are different types of plastic. So, they will have a phase separation, and if you have phase separation, then you will have a structural weakness, and which can lead to premature failure. So, you need to have similar type of plastics. So, similar plastic types, compatible plastics that needs to be used. So, you have to make that sure. And plastic waste, another issue that we are kind of worried about is this microplastics coming out from this plastic waste. Although this plastic is now encapsulated with asphalt, so usually we should not with the it's kind of a put in a nice encapsulation, but see, with the wear and tear of roads, with so much vehicles going back and forth, and you have wear and tear of that road, there will be instances of breaking down, and then you will have you can potentially have microplastics coming out and making way to the soil and waterways, the nearby surface water. And these microplastics are of course harmful by themselves, but they also act as a site adsorption site for other pollutants. So, they carry other pollutants with it. So, these are, so as I said, anything we go for, there will always be some challenges. So, we need to look at these issues in detail when we go for many times what happens is we find something for example, this plastic road. Now, the whole industry, the government and everything thinks that okay, for the management of plastic waste, this is the solution and let us go and just do it. But before we go and make that kind of a huge claim, we also have to look at what is the risk associated with that. So, that is why this beneficial reuse risk assessment. So, this use of this plastic in road construction, it is a good thing to do, but at the same time these issues that we talked about, these 4 issues that we are looking at here, and there could be some more, but these 4 broader issues that we are looking here, they also needs to be like looked into a bit in detail, and to try to see that whether are we just solving a problem, but creating some other problem. So, that is those kind of issues usually get captured when we do this life cycle analysis kind of calculation. These things do get captured in there, because we will be looking at the cleaning of plastics, the issues of microplastics coming out, the impact of microplastics in the environment and all that. They needs to be looked into as a for any like a long term performance. Advantage of using plastic in the road, stronger road, as we talked about, good Marshall stability value, better resistance, no stripping, no potholes, increased binding, reduction in pores in aggregate, strength of its no effect of radiation like UV, strength of road increases, it can load withstanding property increases. You can have, if you have 1 kilometer by 3.7 meter road, 1 ton of plastic, 10 lakh carry bags is used, 1 ton of bitumen is saved. So, you are saving bitumen while using this plastic. Cost of road construction will go down, maintenance is coming down, disposal of waste plastic is no longer a problem. So, and use of waste plastic on road help better place than burying it in a landfill, and those are so. There are benefits, of course, that is why people are looking at it throughout the world, and we are in India also doing it. Even the government Ministry of Surface Transport, if I am correct, like I always get confused with different types of ministry, where the jurisdiction of one ministry ends or where the jurisdiction of other ministry starts. But I think it is the Ministry of Surface Transport which has come up with a regulation that or a guidance document which says that you need to use around 10% of plastic waste in the road construction. So, there are already some guidelines in place where the plastic government wants people to use this plastic waste in road construction, because it has been found to be good. But again, we have not looked at some of the issues that we talked about in terms of risk associated with microplastics, the cleaning of plastic, the wastewater that is coming out. So, all those things should be looked into when we look at the big picture environment. Otherwise, see, the whole purpose of this course or any other environmental course is actually looking at the overall impact of human health and environment. We should not move one problem to another problem. So, if solving this waste plastic by road construction, but if we clean those waste plastic and we have too much toxic wastewater, and then this waste plastic problem became a toxic wastewater problem. Microplastics coming out, that is another problem. So, we have to look at those issues in detail before we kind of give a nice certificate to any process or any method. So, cleaning process disadvantage, as I said, toxic could be present during the road laying process. You have the chlorine will release, first rain will trigger leaching, as the plastic will merely form a sticky layer, mechanical aberration. So, it is then components of road, when it has been laid, are not inert. So, it does react. So, as I said, the government is making use of plastic waste in road construction. Road developer will now have to use plastic waste along with hot mix construction bitumen roads within 50 kilometer of the periphery of any city that has population of over 5 lakhs. So, any city with over 5 lakhs, the plastic waste collected from that city, part of that has to be used in road construction. So, that has been made mandated. So, that is already there. The urban local body, which are actually sort of can make money from selling this plastic waste to the city developers. So, they can sign a memorandum of understanding, those kind of stuff. Then also consider using plastic waste in road construction. Himachal Pradesh High Court tells to Public Works Department. So, this is again December of last year. So, this is a hot topic, as I said in the beginning. This is a very hot topic in India right now of plastic waste in road, and it seems to be a good move, but at the same time we need to look at the other issues associated with that. Many times we forget those but we need to do that, unless just to make sure what is the risk from using it, and how the risk compares with the benefit. So that is always a good thing to do. So here the Himachal Pradesh Additional Chief Secretary, they have filed an affidavit in Himachal High Court. There are many waste plastic items like carry bag, plastic cups, plastic packaging, chips, biscuits, chocolates, blah blah blah, and which can be used for road construction are required to be cut in size to 2.36 mm to 4.75 mm by using shredding machine. So again, you are using energy there, and then can be used for road construction via dry process. So there again, the High Court of Himachal Pradesh, they say that you should desire using waste plastic for road construction after examining the technical and financial aspect. So that's so some study needs to be done to make sure that we are doing it correctly. Microplastics, we talked about issues of microplastics in your coming out from different stuff. Well, we looked at microplastics earlier in ocean. We also here, once you have this road being constructed, you can have microplastics leaching off. So conventional wastewater treatment plant, they are with primary and secondary treatment process, they can remove microplastics from wastewater, but they were not really designed for removing emerging contaminant like microplastics, and the removal is actually by chance. Despite the efficient removal, final effluent can act as entrance route for microplastics. Even the large volume constantly discharge into the aquatic environment. Other pathways include stormwater runoff, wind blown debris, and in situ degradation of large plastic atoms. So there are microplastics do come into the environment. So if you look at the microplastics mechanism in terms of tertiary treatment, so you can if you have microplastics from 0.5, you look at different scenario, 0.5 to 2 microplastics per liter. So when it goes down to 0.03 to 0.3, so there is some reduction in the through the Dix filter. Rapid sand filter, also you have some reduction right there. Dissolved air flotation, DAF also removes microplastics. Membrane bioreactor also removes microplastics. So there are microplastics does get removed in tertiary treatment, but many of the plant doesn't have tertiary treatment. So they only have primary and secondary treatment. So you don't remove that much of microplastics coming out from that. Other initiative which has been done is that the Airport Authority of India uses plastic waste to they want to use plastic waste to lay roads. Next time you visit city airport in Chennai, there you might be driving on a road made of plastic waste. 30 tons of siege plastic to end up as road. So with the ban on single use plastic, they found 30 tons of plastic was captured in city corporation area in Chennai, and that they are planning to use it into roads. So that's thing is there. So waste plastic in Mumbai, sorry, in Bangalore also it is done. That BBMP has used plastic on about 600 kilometers of road, including many thoroughfares and aerial roads. It is also used in plastic bends in at least 25% of the road laying works, including the present project to upgrade the 45. The plastic model was successful on major roads in Bangalore, including Sankar Mutt Road, KH Road, MG Road, Yesinagar Road. So these are just to give you an example that this is already being done in India. It's nothing. It's not new. So it's already being done for last several years, and this is a potentially a good way of managing non-recyclable, non-energy recovery plastic. Rather than sending it to a landfill, we can rather make a use it for a road construction, because it helps in making the road better. It also helps in conserving the bitumen. So you have to use less bitumen if you use waste plastic, and the issues associated with risk and other stuff in terms of microplastics and all the toxic wastewater, that should be looked into to make sure we are doing everything okay. Here are some examples of outer ring road from Mysore Road Junction, Bangalore University Road, Patlama Road. So as you can see, the road, most of the roads looks much like a improved version of the traditional road. So they are plastic roads seems to do better, and it has been reported to do better. So there are reports already out there, which it's not only like just the claim, even The people have after using it for a few years, people are finding it to be better than the traditional road. So, you see some examples. Another example, this is the plastic waste road. Then on the right hand side, again the plastic waste road. This picture is from Jasco, which is in Jamshedpur. So in terms of this particular week, for what we have looked into the different aspect associated with the plastic waste management. So, plastic waste generation of waste plastic is increasing day by day. We are having more and more plastic being formed, being produced. Right now, based on the government data, different data that we have around 12% of plastic waste in municipal solid waste stream, and that number will potentially go up as the country progresses, more packaging, more stuff, and of course, we are trying to reduce the single use plastic, but then we have other plastic items which we will keep on using. So, we will have more and more the plastics coming into the waste stream, and when we look at the plastics, there are like different types of polymers, polythene, polypropylene, polystyrene, and all those different polymers are there, and they have good adhesion property in the molten state. And when you use it in waste plastic for road, it helps in increasing the melting point. So, hence the use of waste plastic is one of the best method for easy disposal, for we can use it for the disposal of waste plastic. The use of innovative technology, it makes the road better, but also increases the life of the road, and then creates a source of income. For the ULBs can fund now plastic waste, so they can get the plastic waste sorted out from other waste streams, and then be able to sell this plastic waste for road construction. It works. It's good for India's hot and extremely humid climate. So, where temperature frequently kind of on the road temperature we are talking about, the temperature on the road surface frequently crosses 50 degrees centigrade, although it may not be in the ambient temperature, but as you can feel, the roads are pretty hot, and torrent rain also creates havoc in India. So, this plastic waste, plastic roads is helpful in reducing the potholes. So, it's those big potholes are disappeared in many of these plastic roads. We don't see those potholes. So, they help because of plastics. They are more stable under rainy conditions. So, it's so in the so there is a hope that this in terms of managing plastic, this use of waste plastic in road construction will be a big thing, and that will help in making things better in the environment. So, overall, if you look at this week, we started with looking at this whole focus of this particular week was on plastic waste management issues. So, when we say management, plastic waste management, we started from the recycling, which is the most preferred option. Recycling, where you make you can do mechanical recycling or also do feedstock recycling. Mechanical recycling is where you try to make a new product out of the plastic waste which is there. You try to make a new product, you either downcycle, mostly downcycle, and make new product out of that, and even make the same product out of that. Then in feedstock recycling, you try to go for make this pellets, and then you go for pyrolysis, plasma gasification, and all that. Then we also looked at waste to energy, where since there are several times for both mechanical recycling as well as feedstock recycling, we have to separate the different plastic based on resin type. So, we cannot really mix those resin types, because that becomes a problem in terms of getting the newer product out there. So, for waste to energy incineration plant, we can use mixed plastic together along with other waste stream as well. Plastic has a good calorific value, so we can use it in waste to energy plant, but we have to do it in a pretty high temperature, so that to make sure that no dioxin, furan, and other contaminants are formed. Even after doing it at a high temperature, we need to have a proper air pollution control system. So, that was the waste to energy part. Then if you cannot recycle it, you cannot do waste to energy, next we said you can put it in a landfill, because the landfill at least is a secure environment. So, you are minimizing the environmental risk from there. Now, so this is the traditional way of doing it. So, there has been some other applications of plastic. The biggest one was use of plastic waste in roads. So, we talked about that in quite in detail. We also looked at a small video of how that process works. Then we also looked at plastic bricks, use of plastic in different use of plastic in different applications. Again, if you go on Google and if you go on YouTube, you will find several innovative applications that people are coming up. We looked at the bricks, we looked at a whole house made out of waste plastic. We also looked at people making tiles of waste plastic and used in different and so there are, so these are some applications. There are several other applications out there which you will find. So, again I hope this week material was useful to you, and we could looked at the plastic waste management issues of different aspects of plastic waste management, and so we try to cover whatever we could in a week's time for different aspect. This is just the beginning, as I keep on saying every week. This is just the beginning for you. If you are really interested in this topic, this course would be kind of just the beginning step, and you need to read more about it. So, that is why the reading material is there. Online reading material has been provided to you along with the slides, and put things on discussion forum, make it lively, and ask questions there. We will be happy to answer. And of course, I hope you are enjoying the course. So, keep enjoying. So, next week, so we have 6 weeks we have completed out of 8. So, now 2 more weeks of material left for you to go through. So, in the 7th week, which we will look at what is alternative to plastic. So, what if we do not use plastic, because if we started with, if we ban all this plastic, what are the alternatives and how good are those alternatives which is out there in the market right now. And in the last week, we will talk about the whole circular economy and all those concepts associated, how plastic management is getting into that circular economy concept, which is a newer concept anyway. So, again, thank you. See you again in next week.